Did you know in C++ functions are divided into different categories, and mastering them can make your code easier? Let me show you in just few minutes. Remember, we have said that a function is a block of statement that is designed to perform specific tasks, and it can be used many times in a program. So example, we can just take example, we can just say void add. For example, this can be the function for displaying sum, right? You can just write shout sum like this one. So this can be example of simple function designed to perform sum of two numbers. Yes, now let us see their categories. Functions are categorized based on parameters like input, right? Parameters. We just focus on parameters and also we just also focus on return type, right? Return type. These are what should consider when we are classifying a function, return type. Let us see now those categories based on parameters and return type. Yes, in categories of functions, the first one we have what you call function with no return type and no parameters. There is function that has either return type and parameters. First one, function with no return type and no parameters. To mean that it doesn't have any return type and parameter. There is no input and output on this category. So let me show you how you can use it, right? So, and first of all, we need here to insert using namespace ctd so that you can access to this standard library. Yes, for function with no return type and parameters, for example, we can take this simple example here. Let us take this simple example. Yes, let us take this one, void add, just void add. Then this is our function definition. You see, function definition. Function, this is function definition, as we already seen. Then what we need to do is just to open it like this one. Do you see? Then we need now to give it body, what is going to do. Now, for example, we can as you see, we don't have any return type here. It's just void. Remember, I already showed you the void, how to use a void and its important. So now let us make a variable declaration int x, which is equal to like 5, and y, which is equal to like 10. Then also we need like a sum. You see? Then we compute sum, which is equal to what? 2x plus y. X plus y. Then also we display sum. Shout just sum. We just write sum. You see? This is our simple function. This function doesn't have a return type because we just use void. When we use void, there is no specific return type and there is no parameter, as you see here. There is no parameter, right? So this is how you can define the function with no return type and no parameters. For example, once you run it, let us run it. Remember, to run it, we just need to call it, right? So just call function. I think you remember. We just write its name, then we call it. We need to write here add, then we have semicolon here. You see, now we already called it. Let us now make a compilation to check for errors and show an output. Save it as main. It's already exists. Let us replace it. As you see, there is no error here. Let us now run to check for an output, and you will see the sum is now 15 here. Do you see? Yeah, it's just a simple. This is how you can use function with no return type and no parameters. So let us see another category which is function with no return type but with parameters. Second category, as I said, is what you call function with no return type but with parameters. To mean that it doesn't have a return type but has input, right? With parameters. Remember, your parameters considered as an input. You see? Then let us see example here. Let us just update this one. For this level, what we are going to do is just to insert parameters here, right? Because now has parameters. Let us int x and int y. Then these are our parameters. Then after we need to int sum here. We just need to make declaration of sum because we already have x and y here. You see? Then we need to compute sum and display our sum. Do you see? Yes, because we already have our variables x and y, which are parameters. Now we need to compute sum using those parameters by taking x plus y. Then we display our sum. But once we are calling this function, we just need to assign values on this x and this y so that it can take those values and compute sum. Instead of calling it like this, we just need to insert values. For example, for let x be 10 and y be 5, right? So actually this is how you can use. Sorry, we made a mistake. Here is just 10 and 5. Do you see? Because here was in main function. So this is how we can call function defined as one has parameters but don't has a return type, right? So let us also save it and compilation and run at the same time. We click here to compile and run program. You see also output stay 15 because we just changed the structure but still inputs are the same. Here we defined the function with no return type but with parameters x and y, right? So here we need to make summation of those variables and then display sum. But once we are calling that function, we should just assign values for x and for y. So this is a second category. Let us see the third one. The third category is the one with return type and no parameters. Do you understand? Now we are going to see the function with a return type but no parameters. Yes, third category is a function with return type. Now we have return type but no parameters, right? And no parameters. Let us see how it works. Yes, in order to save time, we don't need to write a new function. We just also use this one. What we need to change here is just to remove those parameters as it doesn't have any parameters, but we just need here return type. Now we need, for example, int. Our function will return int, right? Integer number, right? Then here after, we need to make now variable declaration. Since we don't have variables, let us int now x, which is equal to just 10, for example, and y, which is equal to what? 220, example, and also we need our sum, right? Then also we can create sum by just taking x plus y. Then to display sum here, we don't need to display because our function has a return type here. We just need to use the return keyword, right? And we return our sum, return sum. Do you see? Now our function has return type. Since it has return type, we just need return here, return keyword here. Then in function calling, what we need to do is just to make a variable that will hold this function, right? And is integer. Remember, it will return integer int. For example, result, which is equal to this function, add our function, and we should not put here values because our function doesn't have any parameters. So write like this one. This is what you call function calling. Remember, function calling. You see? Then here we need now to display an output just by using shout. The sum is, you can just write this statement, sum is, then we write this sum, our variable here, this one, this that, because our value now is stored in this variable, this that, you see, this one. Let us also run it to check for an output, but please, what you should understand here is when we have a function with return type, here we just use return keyword to return our sum here. Then in main function we hold it in other variable, then we return it, or we just display it using shout statement, right? So let us make comparison and run to check for an output. You see there is some errors here. We should now use just one int. Was a mistake. Let us now run it, and as you see, this is our sum. You see the sum is now 30 because we have 10 plus 20, which is equal to 30, right? So actually this also is simple, is where we just need to use function with return type but no parameters. Yes, now let us see the last category. It's all about 4 categories. Let us see the last category, which is function with both return type and parameters. Function with return type and parameters. You see, now this is the last category where we just use both return type and parameters. Let us see how also it works. Yes, also we don't need to start from scratch because we already have our function. This function has already return type, so let us give it parameters, and you have seen that how to give it parameters. Just write int x and int y. You see? Yes. Then since we have int x and int y here, we don't need to make the declaration again here. We just use also declaration of just sum, then you compute our sum and also we return. Remember, here we have both return type, to mean we will use return, and also we have parameters, no need to make initialization here, right? So then what we need to do for function calling, since we have parameters, we'll just assign values to our parameters by adding those values in here in this parentheses. We can just give it, like for x, let us give it 20, for y give it 30. You see, to mean that this x assigned to this 20 and also this y assigned to this 30. Then after getting these values, we will now have already variable called sum. Our program will make sum by just summing those values x and y, then return sum. After returning sum, it will be displayed by using this variable called result, by just taking 20 plus 30. That will be our result here, and it should be 15. Let us see whether is what we are going to get. We just click here. First of all, we have to save. Click here on compilation and run to check an output. Actually, this is our expected answer, right? You see the sum is now 15. Actually, it's just simple, but some programmers are still confusing about these categories. So as you see, it's just simple. What you need to do is just to master those 2 factors, what you call return type and parameters, right? So this is the end of our today's lesson. It was about categories of function in C++, also in different languages, because this is common. So there is function with no return type and no parameters, function with no return type with parameters, function with return type and no parameters, and also function with both return type and parameters, right? So thank you for watching this video. If this video helped you, please don't miss subscribe. If you are new here, don't miss share, like this video, and if you have any question or idea, please let us know in the comment section. So see you in the next lesson.